Well, good evening, everyone. My name is John Hybush, and I have the honor of being the Executive Director of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation. And I want to welcome all of you to the Reagan Library, and thank you for joining us tonight for this very special occasion. If you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, and remain standing for the singing of our national anthem by Ashley Sundstrom, a former member of our team here at the Reagan Foundation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you.
Please be seated. Well, before we begin tonight, I thought, I'm going to be introducing a very special guest in just a minute, but I'll start with a couple other guests. It's a little unusual to have them here on an evening like this, but Max and Jordana, if you would please stand up. This is aspiring Reagan Scholarship winners, my son Max and Jordana. Can you wave, everybody? Tonight, we celebrate the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation Scholars Program, which honors and rewards outstanding and civically engaged students, leaders throughout Ventura County. Since 2000, we've awarded nearly $500,000 in such scholarships to Ventura County students. The recipients of tonight's awards demonstrate a lot of things: leadership, character, communication skills, of course, academic achievement, and commitment to Ventura County that I know would have made our 40th president very proud. Ronald Reagan's leadership was legendary, and in being recognized tonight, you honor his legacy. In fact, this year, we were so overwhelmed by outstanding applicants, nearly 240 in all, from 32 local high schools, that for our first year ever, we needed to narrow the field and identify only the top 100 candidates to honor here tonight. So congratulations on being part of this elite group. You deserve a round of applause. As each of you are a star in your own right, at your school and in your community, we thought it was appropriate to add a little more star power to the evening. You know this beautiful woman best on stage and on screen from hits like Clarissa Explains It All, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, one of my favorites, Drive Me Crazy, and Dancing with the Stars. She currently stars in ABC Family's Melissa and Joey. In addition to her prowess as an actress, our speaker tonight has written a book, Melissa Explains It All, which will hit the shelves in October. She has been a frequent and very favorite guest of ours here at the library before. If you would, please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, award-winning actress, Melissa Joan Hart.
That was so sweet. Thank you. It is such an incredible honor to be here tonight speaking at the Ronald Reagan Library. As a child growing up in the 80s, I got to witness the remarkable changes to our country during his 8 years as president. As a young girl who lived in New York, our school had many air raid drills. And for those of you who are lucky enough not to know what those drills are, they are in case of an attack on U.S. soil. So during the 80s, the tension ran high around the globe as the world powers threatened imminent nuclear war and communism was still a threat. I may have been young, but the psychological warfare between the US and the Soviet Union was not lost on me. From what I caught while my dad watched the news to what I heard adults discussing, along with the air raid drills, I was terrified that at any minute the Russians could attack. With Reagan as president, the Cold War disintegrated into a distant fear, and his powerful words still ring in my ears today. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. He didn't ask, he demanded. And with that statement, he demonstrated the kind of no-nonsense leadership that we have always represented in our land of the brave. I was too young to understand his more economic and political policies, but one thing I could feel deep in my soul was the relief from not fearing the end of the world, thanks to President Reagan's stance on foreign affairs. There was another side of President Reagan that I can appreciate and relate to, which was his acting career. As an actor, you open yourself up to a ton of rejection and scrutiny. It's not a good job for someone with thin skin, which I'm sure is why Reagan was a great actor but an even better politician. I had to learn early that what other people think of me is not nearly as important as what I think of me. I realized that I had to make good, solid decisions in order to feel a sense of pride and integrity in my life. And in order to make good decisions, I had to keep my head clear and facing in the right direction. That meant staying away from substances and people that were going to deter me from my goals in life. Don't get me wrong, I made many mistakes along the way, including making out with a Backstreet Boy and getting a tattoo in Cabo. But I learned from those mistakes and moved forward, careful not to repeat the same misjudgment. Like Reagan said, we must have the courage to do what we know is morally right. Overall, in my career, I've been very blessed to have many opportunities presented to me. I also feel I've had the good sense to recognize and utilize those blessings when they presented themselves. And I have always made sure to give thanks for those blessings. Most of you know I played the roles of Clarissa and Sabrina, but what you probably don't know is about my career before these iconic characters. I started acting when I was the age of 4, when I told my mom that I wanted to be on a kids show called Romper Room. Romper Room was probably the closest thing to Barney that you kids know here today. I never did get on Romper Room, but I did book my first, third, and fifth audition, catapulting my commercial acting career. I worked on about 100 commercials before I was 10, and my elementary school mates called me the Rice Krispies girl, since that was the only role they knew. By 10, I started dabbling in theater and became the youngest member of a very reputable theater group in an off-Broadway district. Being among some of the most gifted stage actors was like being thrown into one of the best acting classes imaginable and taught by experience. I worked on 3 great theater productions. All the while, I was auditioning for commercials, movies, TV shows, anything that came along, and making sure my homework was handed in on time. It was like a magical Sabrina balancing act. During this time, I auditioned 3 times for a Nickelodeon show called Clarissa Explains It All. Each time I auditioned, I did my best, but I didn't put much stock into the project. See, in showbiz, you go on an average of 2 to 10 auditions a week, and out of those, you may book 1 job out of every 3 months or so. So I would average that you book like 1 out of every 50 auditions. So that's a very rough average, though, since it's a real gamble. This is exactly why I talked about tough skin. You know, you hope for the best, but expect the worst. And that's exactly why I hope my kids won't be actors. On my 3rd audition for Clarissa, I was introduced to the creator of the show, who was also an executive producer. He had insisted that he wouldn't let a blonde play his lead character. He felt that he wanted the character to be a strong, smart female, and blondes didn't represent those attributes. But he agreed to see me when he heard of the very great reviews from the play. When I met with him, he asked me if I liked the New Kids on the Block. And for those of you who don't know the new kids, they were the One Direction of my generation, and I couldn't stand them. So I blurted out, "Ugh, no." After I replied, I immediately regretted my response, thinking he probably had a daughter who liked them, or maybe he knew them personally. So then he asked me what music I did enjoy, and I said They Might Be Giants, which was a goofy alternative music group that you may know from the theme songs of Malcolm in the Middle and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Needless to say, it wasn't a popular choice, which I'm sure is one of the reasons I wasn't very accepted by my peers in junior high school. Well, that and the fact that I still shopped at Kids R Us. You know, there were no Forever 21s or H&Ms back then. So I left my third audition for Clarissa, and my mom asked me her usual post-audition question. How did it go? And I gave her one of my two usual responses. I don't think I got it, as opposed to the preferred, I think I got it. We proceeded on our long drive home, bummed out, with my mom giving her I give up speech. Every few months, after dragging our butts to New York City, we'd take a 2-hour car ride to and from the city for all these auditions, and no jobs seemed to be coming from it. And she would give the same speech, including phrases, "That's it, no more auditions, and we're quitting the business." But about 2 days later, we got a call saying that I had impressed the producer, and they were offering me the part of Clarissa. I was lucky enough to play the part of Clarissa for 4 fun years in Orlando, Florida, but it wasn't without its struggles. I had to leave my family for weeks and months at a time. They were back in New York, and I was going to Orlando. And I was working 70-hour weeks starring on a show, which meant memorizing 50 pages a week on top of high school, SATs, college applications, which some of you now can relate to. I took my schoolwork very seriously and loved being a student, but a full-time job where 150 people's paychecks depend on you is a lot of pressure on a teenager. Suffice it to say, I took the responsibility very seriously and maintained a strict sense of professionalism. Well, except when I would goof around on set in between takes, because I was a teenager after all. Besides, you have to have a little fun in your life, right? YOLO? Yeah? Okay, we got YOLO? Yeah. People always ask how I didn't get caught up in drugs and drama, but honestly, I didn't have time or even understand that world. All I knew was that I had a lot on my plate and had to juggle it all. The key was finding balance in my life. Once Clarissa ended, I was relieved that all I had to look forward to was college at NYU. But immediately, I was faced with a decision to start college or shoot a TV movie. It was one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make at the time. I chose to head back to Florida to work on the movie, but started NYU in the spring semester of '95, only to be called away when my mother was producing another TV movie called Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I was supposed to star in it, and we were supposed to shoot it in Vancouver. That fall, Sabrina became a TV show and quickly became so popular that I was forced to take college courses on my summers off in order to stay in the program. I was enrolled at NYU for 7 years, but left without a degree, and I always joke that I could have been a doctor in that time. But throwing my purple cap in the air in Washington Square Park with the other much younger NYU grads is at the top of my bucket list. Someday. We had a wonderful run on Sabrina, which lasted 7 incredible years, and I had such a blast and met so many lifelong friends. It didn't hurt that I didn't have to balance work and school for this series. In our last year of production, I met a boy named Mark who was in a rock band called Course of Nature at a charity benefit for the Kentucky Derby. As soon as Sabrina was wrapped for good, Mark and I were married in Florence, Italy, which is one of the places I spent one of my summers for NYU. I now found myself as a wife and without a full-time job for the first time in 14 years, and I was only 27. Over my many years in Sabrina, I was asked by many organizations and charities to help their causes in numerous ways. Sometimes they just needed to put your name on the invite, for you to show up at a red carpet event, or to autograph a photo to auction off. But now I was an unemployed bored housewife back on the audition circuit. I decided to throw myself into charity work full tilt. I became an auction chair for a Southern Californian charity called Friends of the Family, which I adore. We would often meet, and I would spend hours on the phone and emailing companies and contacts to donate money and products to our yearly fundraising event. By the time Mark and I celebrated our 2nd anniversary, I was pregnant with our first son. And after Mason was born, I then joined forces with some of my famous mommy friends and worked tirelessly for Friends of the Family and also for the March of Dimes, which helps prevent birth defects and premature births in newborn babies. Being a mom really changes your goals and your life in a way you cannot plan for. From the minute you find out you're pregnant, your entire core focus is placed on how to keep that baby safe, healthy, happy, and to raise that little human being into the most caring, kind, and smart being on the planet. But then you soon find out you can't prevent them from eating sand and making fart noises. Soon we added our little Brady to our family, and my charity work became even more intense as I tried to save the world for my children. But while my intention grew stronger, my free time with 2 small kids at home grew smaller. Well, now I am hard at work on my 3rd long-running sitcom called Melissa and Joey, and have just given birth to my 3rd son, Tucker, last fall. My family, my work, and my charities are all priorities in my life, and I wish I could give them all the same amount of attention, but these days my kids win out. But even though I have barely any time in the day to sit and snuggle with my boys, I still make sure I'm an example to them of how to treat others and how to help those less fortunate. I love bringing the boys to the LA mission to serve the homeless and show them the other side of life, or starting a mitten tree at their school to help kids that need some warmth in the winter. And at the end of every day, we make sure to thank God for all his blessings, big and small. Someone recently asked me, what if you woke up tomorrow with only the things you were thankful for yesterday? And that has really stuck with me. I am very careful to keep my eyes open for all the opportunities that I am graced with every day, even the ones that may not seem grand or wonderful. Me and my boys take time to say thanks for our happiness, love, clothes, shelter, food, health, and every little thing in between. But most of all, I am grateful for the joy in my life, that I can walk around each day with an understanding that every moment is a gift. YOLO. As you head off into the big scary world, I don't want to preach to you, as many have and will, but I do want to leave you with my little recipe for a successful life. It consists of 5 steps. See the stars, reach for your star, help others reach their star, be thankful for the stars, and enjoy being surrounded by stars. And to leave you with the great words of our YOLO former president, there are no constraints on the human mind, no walls around the human spirit, no barriers to our progress except those we ourselves erect. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Melissa. It's just an honor to have you here. To continue with our program, I am pleased to introduce an alumnus of the Reagan administration, who was also President Reagan's chief of staff during the last 10 years of his life. Today, she serves as the Chief Administrative Officer at the Reagan Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joanne Drake.
Well, I'm feeling a little inadequate after following Melissa. But I wanted to say good evening, and as we celebrate the history and legacy of President Reagan, we do know that if he were here today, he would be looking toward the future with the utmost optimism and confidence in our country, especially if you could see all of your faces. Based on your qualifications for the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation Scholars Program, we agree that the days ahead will in fact be bright. As John mentioned, we were thrilled to receive a record number of qualifying applications this year. We are delighted to honor 100 exceptional student leaders tonight alongside your families and school administrators. We know that this tremendous response was due in large part to your very hardworking school counselors. This year, we offered an incentive for the school that put forth the highest number of completed applications as a percentage of its senior class. We are pleased to congratulate Lorena High School for earning this distinction. And I would like to invite Counselor Nancy LaBelle up to the stage to receive a small token of our appreciation for her school. Tonight's presentation of awards would not have been possible without the efforts of our Scholarship Selection Committee, which we expanded this year to accommodate our large number of applicants. As I call your name, please stand to be recognized. Along with me tonight, the Reagan Foundation's representatives include Mark Fitzpatrick, Beth Hickman, Jim Johnson, Alan Kay, Tony Penney, Ren Powell, and Janet Tran. They're used to being in the background, and so I'm hoping they're standing for our thanks. In addition, we are pleased for the following community representatives who served on our selection committee, and they're joining us here tonight. Cheryl Caudry, Jake Jacobs, and J.P. Lake. A young woman by the name of Hannah Barrett is the final member of our external selection committee, and she represents our recent scholars. Understandably, she is wrapping up her semester at MIT and was unable to join us this evening. To give you a sense of the level of talent recognized by the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation Scholars Program, we are pleased to have 3 of our 2012 scholars here with us tonight. Please help me welcome them to the stage.
Hello, my name is Jackie Salgado. I graduated from Royal High School, and I'm currently attending Brigham Young University. Hi, everyone. My name is Sneha Paranandi. I graduated from Newbury Park High School, and I go to USC.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sumed Shah. I graduated Thousand Oaks High School. I attend University of Miami in Florida, and I love taking long walks on the beach. So I know I can speak for all of us when I say that we are so glad to be back here. And as 3 of the recipients of the 2012 Ronald Reagan Scholarship, we'd like to tell you what it's all about. So if you can please turn your attention towards the screen, and we can show you how awkward we were last year.
Since its inception in 2000, the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation Scholarship Program has awarded more than $500,000 to outstanding high school seniors from Ventura County, California. This program honors the life and legacy of President Ronald Reagan by providing financial assistance to exceptional young leaders. When we look at an application, we aren't just looking for students who have excellent grades and SAT scores. We are looking for students who, like President Reagan, were extremely well-rounded and actively made their communities a better place. The first quality we look for is outstanding leadership. In addition to serving as the 40th President of the United States, President Reagan was California's governor from 1967 through 1975 and was elected to serve as the president of the Screen Actors Guild 6 different times.
For me, leadership is the ability to inspire.
Leadership is setting an example for the community and for people both older than you and younger than you.
As Vice President of Royal High School's leadership class this year, I'm so proud of all the achievements our leadership class has made, from boosting school spirit to planning rallies and getting students very excited to go to school.
It takes great character to be a great leader, and President Reagan had a unique combination of self-confidence and humility that allowed him to work with leaders from across the aisle and across the world in the name of freedom.
Ever since I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at age 4, I've been wanting to just do everything I can to help find a cure for type 1. But as I grew older and started having these individual experiences with others who are affected by the disease and with my family, I realized that it was time to do more. So I started raising money for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, and I actually got the opportunity to travel to Washington, D.C. and lobby Congress for more funding and continual support for more research. So that was an honor.
Being an Eagle Scout is probably one of the biggest honors that I've ever had in my life. Just being in Boy Scouts in general, I've been a Boy Scout for the past 8 years now, starting at Weeblos level, then going on to Eagle.
For National Honor Society, we collected toys for children who are less fortunate, and that was a really inspirational thing for myself because I'm really interested in, I'm fascinated by people and by the things that they need and my role in fulfilling their needs. And so by giving them these toys, it was a way for me to reach out and to take the first step into my service towards the community and whoever it is that I see that needs help.
President Reagan was known as the Great Communicator. Widely considered one of America's most articulate political speakers, President Reagan was also an accomplished writer who wrote 2 autobiographies and kept a daily diary while in the White House. Reagan scholars are also excellent communicators.
I was not born a speaker. My experience at TEDx was one of learning.
I learned how I acted in front of other people, and this really made me better understand who I am as a person and as a speaker. This really made me see how and what it takes to become a better communicator to other people.
When I was small, I had a lot of difficulty communicating with people. So when I grew up and started getting a little bit better, I understood and sympathized with those kids' fear. And I know some people who fear public speaking more than death itself. And I'm just I understand that. And I really want to give back to my community by giving these younger kids those public speaking skills that I lacked when I was a kid. And so by doing that, I hope that they can become more confident leaders at a younger age.
I think that communication skills are important because you can be the greatest person in the world, and you can have all the ideas that really have the power to revolutionize the way that people are thinking or will think in the future. But without the ability to communicate it, no one will ever know. I think that is such a shame that some people were such great minds, but they were never heard.
Whether you're saving lives as a lifeguard, giving a speech in defense of teachers, or traveling the country listening to the stories of GE factory workers, President Reagan worked tirelessly throughout his life to make America a better place. Reagan scholars have proven themselves to be just as dedicated to Ventura County.
At my time at Adolfo Camarillo High School, I founded 2 clubs, the Humanitarian Club and the Make-A-Wish Foundation Club. And because of my efforts in both those clubs, my principal and my club advisor created an award called the Humanitarian Award, which is given to students who show exemplary work in community service. So I'll be the first recipient of this award, and for every year after me, then students will receive this award for community service and volunteerism.
Serving the community is important to me because I get to see the joy in other people's lives when I give up part of my time to help them.
Serving my community is important because God gave me talents that I believe I have, and I believe that God wants me to give those things back to other people. Not doing that would be irresponsible. So I give what God has given me back to other people, and I get a lot in return, so I'm thankful for that.
The Reagan Presidential Foundation's Scholars Program awards a total of $50,000 in scholarships annually. Awards generally range from $2,500 to $10,000 each. If you think you have what it takes to be a Reagan Presidential Foundation scholar, visit reaganfoundation.org/scholarships.
They're an amazing group of young people, and we're really proud of them. Sneha, Jackie, and Sumed, and thousands of other Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation scholars sat where you sit tonight. Bright young leaders driven to advance themselves, their families, and their communities. Scholars, tonight we celebrate your accomplishments. Before we recognize you, though, I would like to acknowledge the family, friends, teachers, and school administrators who have encouraged and supported you throughout your education. Parents, high school principals, and other guests, please stand so we can recognize you. I'm sure I don't have to tell the students that that's why you're here tonight. Your efforts to make this day a reality for our scholars cannot be underestimated, and we thank you for all that you've done. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our 2013 Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation Scholars Program semi-finalists. I will read the names of our semi-finalists alphabetically by school. Students, when I call the name of your school, please come quickly to the side of the stage on my right, your left. Please walk in between the motorcade cars here to make it easier and line up in alphabetical order. This is a test for graduation, okay? We like to do this every year just to get you prepped. We will start with the applicants from Adolfo Camarillo High School. Then the applicants from Buena High School, Channel Islands High School. If you're from those high schools, you should be standing and running right now. It gets easier. Foothill Technology High School and Grace Brethren High School also may begin lining up. So once again, Adolfo Camarillo should be in front. Then Buena, Channel Islands, Foothill Technology, Grace Brethren. You should all be in the line. Okay, as I announce your name, please walk up on the stage to receive a small gift for participating in our scholarship program. Parents, we do have a professional photographer here, but you are more than welcome to come closer to the stage as your child is presented with their gift. That is not practice for graduation because I don't know any high school that allows that anymore. Every student also will receive a Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation Scholars Program Certificate of Distinction, which you can pick up during dinner. I would also ask that you just be respectful of each of our scholars so that we can hear their names and remain quiet while they are recognized. Applause is welcome, absolutely. So if you're ready, from Adolfo Camarillo High School, Sarah Charton. Liz Huber. Denise Naudia. Dylan Peltz. Shannon Smith. Betty Stearns. Melissa Stewart and Jessica Tran. Will the applicants from the high school at Moore Park College, Hueneme High School, Lorena High School, Moore Park High School, and Newberry Park Adventist Academy please line up? And now from Buena High School, Jeffrey Balcom. Danielle Barajo. And Jessica Hoffman. From Channel Islands High School, Paulina Nunez. From Foothill Technology High School, Ryan Harris, Patrick Hoffman, Nikhil Patel, Otto Tielemans, and Natalie Wechter. From Grace Brethren High School, Don Carlson, Allison Malinowski, and Janelle Paez. The applicants from Newberry Park High School, Oak Park High School, Oaks Christian High School, Oxnard High School, and Rio Mesa can line up. From the high school at Moore Park College, we have Cody Sandvig. From Hueneme High School, Christian Jacoby. And Wendari Lopez. From Lorena High School, Rachel Foster, Stephanie Larrett, Caitlin Sullivan, Gabrielle Tricoli, and Rachel Warner. From Moore Park High School, Jessica Bernardine, Leo Calderas, Annie Hadley, and Michael Keller. From Newberry Park Adventist Academy, Sarah Dwuji, Brett Dickinson, and Braden Schwartz. The applicants from Royal High School, Santa Paula High School, Santa Susana High School, Simi Valley High School, and St. Bonaventure can line up. And now from Newberry Park High School, Clay Carter, Nicole Chernevsky, Alina Chun, Roshan Desai, Amy Fong, Lauren Jones, Daniel Lacey, Jacqueline Lee, Allison Ludlow, Jensen McLeod, Kate Nielsen, Alyssa Parker, Kevin Standridge, Kira Tussaud, Jeffrey Wetstein, Cassie G, and Nadia Zivkov. From Oak Park High School, Brian Bernstein, Kai Converi, and Nirupam Nigam. From Oak Park Independent School, Bronwyn Calero. From Oaks Christian School, Bronwyn. From Oaks Christian High School, Jackson Sullivan. From Oxnard High School, Royal Sioux. From Rio Mesa High School, Cody Smith. And now the applicants from Thousand Oaks High School, Trinity Pacific Christian School, Ventura High School, Villanova Prep, and Westlake High School can line up. From Royal High School, we have Lacey Lott, Kyle Matter, Nathan Porter, and Kyle Schumacher. From Santa Paula High School, Emily Hidalgo. From Santa Susana High School, Michael Gulino, Ashley Ruiz, Manor Salim, and Vignesh Sivaganesh. From Simi Valley High School, Manasa Ashok, Jackson Chirigotis, Ashley Herr, and Mahek Sajdev. From St. Bonaventure High School, Emily Devericks. From Thousand Oaks High School, Noah Fields, Kendall Frigioli, Madison Fuller, Adam Janelle, Tiffany Hosseini, Erica Moxley, Dakota Pierce, Summer Schaefer, and Cole Syverson. From Trinity Pacific Christian School, David Kirk. From Ventura High School, Ashley Lynn Fastenaw, Haley Graham, Callan Kazray, Dale Morris, Conley Schrepfer, and Paige Slott. From Villanova Preparatory School, Shannon Gillespie McComb and Christina Gegline. And last but not least, from Westlake High School, Jane Chen, Vasant Iyer, Chris Lamb, Krista Lamori Foote, Grace Eng, Kevin Wang, Lily Wang, Catherine Wiebejal, and Nicholas Whetstone. I'm praying that there isn't a student out there that we did not announce your name, and if there is, please come to the stage now. Oh, good, the system works. Congratulations to each of you, and I will turn it back to John.
Well, you all have been applauding so much. I thought maybe to ask you to applaud once again for it. Well, we just go ahead. We should applaud again for every one of the people that were up here. So, among the semi-finalists here tonight, we are privileged to award 12 with scholarships totaling $50,000 to help them pursue their college education. And our first awards we'll be announcing are for students receiving a $2,000 Reagan Foundation College Scholarship. So when I call your name, please come up to the stage or you won't get your scholarship. And you just come right this way as you did before. Our first recipient combines leadership with compassionate service. As a leader, she fosters a culture of encouragement and support among her peers. In addition to excelling academically, she's received accolades for leadership roles within several youth government programs. Perhaps her most impressive achievements have come from her dedicated service to one of our country's most distinguished nonprofits, where she wore a number of hats to further the organization's mission. This recipient will study international affairs at Princeton University in the fall. Please welcome to the stage Moore Park High School's Annie Hadley. Our next $2,000 scholarship is for a student who juggles a rigorous course load, extracurricular activities, athletics, community service, and a job. A communicator by nature, she leads by example and motivates peers and teammates to work hard and keep on improving. Passionate about the arts, she's also a leader on the basketball court and a star in the mock trial courtroom. One of her teachers sums it up in noting that she has, quote, the expectation and desire to do everything to her fullest potential. She is from Grace Brethren High School and plans to study communications at UCLA in the fall. Please join me in congratulating Allison Malinowski. Our next awards are for those students receiving a $2,500 scholarship. A true self-starter, our first $2,500 recipient has an innate ability to lead. An athlete, musician, performer, she excels in numerous ways. A selfless high achiever, she balances a weekend job with a demanding academic schedule, just like Ronald Reagan. When she is not on stage or on the tennis court, you can find this recipient serving a charitable organization she founded to serve our country's homeless. She has already been earning college credits and will earn her associate's degree simultaneous with her high school diploma. With plans to attend Oregon State University in the fall, please welcome to the stage Oak Park Independent School's Bronwyn Calero. Our next $2,500 recipient is motivated, passionate, and equally comfortable leading hundreds of peers or assisting behind the scenes. He leads at the highest levels while maintaining a variety of other interests, including athletics and drama. One teacher summarizes this candidate's achievements in saying that he is, quote, determined to make a difference in this world. He is an Eagle Scout, explorer with the Oxnard Fire Department, and president of his senior class. from Ventura High School and headed to the California Maritime Academy in the fall, where he will further his passion for the world's oceans. Please congratulate Conley Schretford. Our next awards are for those students receiving a $3,000 Reagan Presidential Foundation College Scholarship. So our first $3,000 recipient pursues passions through community service. She is an idealist, innovative problem solver, and peer motivator. She reliably juggles her commitments, ranging from soccer, dance, and drama, and uses her technical knowledge to advance her leadership objectives. A Girl Scout Gold Award recipient, this candidate created a health advocacy program that now engages 350 members. From Ventura High School, with plans to study computer science at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in the fall, please welcome Ashley Lynn Fastenal. This next $3,000 recipient is a dedicated community servant. She encourages collaboration among teams and uses optimism, like President Reagan, to motivate peers. In addition to a stellar academic record, she serves countless hours each month for a number of local organizations while also playing volleyball and maintaining a paid job. Her counselor captured her impact by saying, quote, "She's made our high school stars shine brighter, and she will be missed." Headed to the University of California, San Diego in the fall, please welcome Newbury Park High School's Jensen McLeod. Our next $3,000 recipient was intent on making an impact and hit the ground running starting in freshman year. An international traveler, she is an award-winning athlete serving in the captain role in 2 different sports. From her lengthy list of extracurricular activities and service, we agree with the teacher who noted that this recipient, quote, "truly made the most of her high school years." She is a consummate volunteer, most notably leading a senior citizen prom organized by the Kiwanis Key Club. This Ventura High School senior will study at the University of Colorado at Boulder in the fall. Please join me in congratulating Paige Slaught. Okay, so our next awards are for those students receiving a $5,000 scholarship. It's difficult to imagine how our first $5,000 scholarship recipient manages to get any sleep. While her talents span from swimming to music to math, her sense of drive does not keep her from devoting endless hours to worthy causes. She is an award-winning member of Future Business Leaders of America and Junior State of America. In the fall, this candidate will study business administration at Harvard. From Westlake High School, please welcome Jane Chen. Reliable, optimistic, and competent are 3 words used to describe our next $5,000 recipient. Academically strong, he's an athlete and an entrepreneur. Outside of the classroom, he serves our community in a variety of ways, including the areas of faith and politics. It was his passion for politics that drew him to student council. If his future does not hold a career in government, perhaps he will pursue law, since he best established himself as a powerhouse in mock trial. In the fall, this Trinity Pacific Christian School student will head east to Grove City College. Congratulations to David Kirk. Our next $5,000 recipient is globally minded and locally driven. Always in the market for a challenge, he solicits feedback from teachers and peers and inspires others. He has taken on leadership roles and devoted countless hours to well-known service organizations. A strong believer in sharing knowledge and opinions, he manages the opinion section of his school's newspaper. Perhaps his finest asset is his approachability, earning him the respect of those around him. From Foothill Technology High School and off to study international affairs at George Washington University in the fall, please congratulate Otto Tielemans. Our next and final 2 awards are for those students receiving $8,000 scholarships, plus an additional $500 grant for the teachers of the recipient's choice. So, with sights on making a positive contribution to the community, this first $8,000 recipient started her advocacy and service well before high school. Talented in many ways, she uses familiarity with the water to teach underprivileged youth about the power of the oceans. She's hailed as being articulate and poised, which will serve her well in mock trial. Passionate about science and the environment, she serves as the Ventura Sierra Club president and president of the Claire Booth Luce Club. She is a senior at Villanova Preparatory School and will study at Rensselaer Polytech Institute in the fall. Please join me in congratulating Sharon Gillespie McComb. Our final $8,000 recipient epitomizes the power of the voice of our youth. She possesses an uncanny empathy for others and strives to help those struggling to face their fears and challenges. A volunteer for the Boys and Girls Club and the Thousand Oaks Youth Commission, this exceptional young woman leads a nonprofit she created and also works part-time. Impressively, she created and produces her own online program tackling some of the most pressing issues facing today's teens. From Newbury Park High School and on her way to Duke University, please welcome Jacqueline Lee. Sure. Well, let's give all of our scholars one more round of applause. Each of you is part of an elite group of future leaders, and we salute all of you. Before we open the buffets downstairs and allow you to enjoy dinner, I have just a few quick housekeeping items. First, we hope you've enjoyed your time at the Reagan Library this evening and that you visit us again to discover more about President Reagan's service to our country. As such, we're pleased to present each semifinalist, all of you, recognized tonight with a one-year complimentary student membership in our Friends of the Reagan Foundation membership program. Details about activating your membership are included in the program that you hold in your hands. Immediately after this program, we'd like to request that all of the semifinalists join us, and that's all of you, join us in front of the mural right here for a group photograph. We'll be assembling right about where the screen is. We'll first take a photograph of all 100 semifinalists, and next we'll take a photo of the recipients of the scholarship awards. So the sooner we can all gather in front of the screen, the sooner you can enjoy dinner with your family. Instructions for ordering the photos that we take this evening, they're in your program as well. During dinner, if the recipients of our scholarship awards would take turns sharing some thoughts on camera, we'd love to highlight your accomplishments in future years. We will have staff to meet you at the stage and escort you to be interviewed. You and your guests may also now continue to tour Air Force One if you've not yet done so. Finally, before you leave this evening, please make sure you stop by the table right in the back here by the stairs to pick up your certificate of distinction. If you are a principal or an administrator representing a school, please also stop by the table to pick up the certificates for those students at your school who completed their application but were not selected as semifinalists. Thank you all again for joining us. Students, please join us in front of the mural now. After the group photograph, please enjoy your dinner downstairs. It's been an honor to be with all of you tonight.